What is up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about how to beat regs that know MDA. How do I beat an opponent that knows what I know? So I have a hand history, and we have some MDA, and we're also going to look at theory. So let's get into the action. I have 7 of spades, 6 of diamonds. Now, in theory, you don't raise this hand, because theory goes 2.5x, I'm going min raise. So let's say we have 7, 6 of spades instead. So I raise, my opponent calls, and the flop comes 7 of clubs, 4 of hearts, 2 of diamonds. We'll follow along here. And we know my opponent is a reg who understands MDA. So we see on the flop here from a solver that 7-6 suited is either a check or a bet. We decide to check. Now, let's follow along in the hand. So the flop goes check, check. On the turn, a 3 of diamonds comes. Now, my opponent checks again. So we have to look at MDA to see if we are incentivized to delayed c-bet. So let's check out some data. This is the field as the single raise pot out of position pre-flop caller, big blind versus button. What do you notice from a delayed c-bet? We see that population is not defending or constructing their double check ranges on the turn. That means that they're overfolding between 5 and 10% against a bet 70. So what we do in game is we take advantage of this population leak. But remember, my opponent knows MDA. So here, I bet 70% pot, and I get called, and a queen of clubs comes on the river. So let's follow along in GTO Wizard as well. We see I bet 75, we'll say, with our 7-6 suited. Remember, we're using 7-6 suited in the solver hand because we want to keep it solver friendly. And the big blind calls. Now, the river is a queen of clubs. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because in theory, if you have a hand like 7-6 suited, it's mixing between checking and betting, depending on suits. But we also want to look at the sizing. What sizing does a solver go? A solver, let's go to sizing. A solver only goes 51%. We do not want to do this. Why? Because my opponent understands this spot. He knows, if we look at MDA from his perspective, here's MDA field as single raise pot in position pre-flop raiser in the check bet line. From his perspective, I bet 70 on the turn. That means almost all river sizings are over bluffed. So if he knows all river sizings are over bluffed, then he's going to be inelastic with his bluff catchers, and it doesn't depend on what size I use. That means any bluff catcher is going to be calling regardless of sizing. This is very important. So how do I beat a player that knows to call with all bluff catchers here? What I have to do is I have to start value betting thinner. So a solver would only bet half pot with a hand of this caliber. We do not want to do this. We want to put our second pairs and hands like pocket sixes and pocket fives in the overbet line, because we know big blind knows MDA. And remember, in poker, you always want to be exactly one level ahead of your opponent. So if he knows check, bet, bet is over bluffed, then he's going to be inelastic with all bluff catchers. So what I do is I put a hand like 7-6 that would only go bet 50 in the overbet line. So here, I bet 120 on the river, and he snap calls me with third pair. What you do against a player that knows MDA is you start value betting thinner. This will own him and all his bluff catchers. So he snap calls with third pair because he thinks I'm polarized, but I'm actually merged. All right, guys. I thought this was a really cool hand. It illustrates how you can use MDA against an opponent that knows MDA, and how you can value bet thinner, and you can bet merge with a polarized sizing. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe. New video every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.